Hello friends, myself Professor Vinod Pillai. Welcome to C programming session. In today's session, we'll be learning about arrays in C. We'll be seeing the major topics like explaining about what is an array, what is its need. Secondly, we will be seeing how we can store values into array and how we can retrieve the values from the array. And finally, we will see the single dimensional array and multi-dimensional array. So let's start. First, understand what is array. If I want to store simple a value, that is an integer value, then I'll take a single integer variable. If someone says I want to store a float value, a pointing value, then I'll take a double or a float variable. If someone says I want to store 100 value, that is 100 is integer, so I take an integer value. So here all it works fine. If someone says I want to store 100 integer values, now here the scenario comes that you want to store 100 values of integer type. Now one scenario comes into picture is this thing. First thing you have to understand is when you want to store multiple variables, or you can such a huge amount of data of same type, do they have any relationship or not? If they have any relationship, then you can create an array. For example, if I want to store 100 employee salary, now this is something we should understand. For timing, let's consider that the salary is integer, value is only going to be there will be no floating values. Then what is the scenario comes here in the picture, that you want to store 100 employee salary, so clearly you have to create 100 integer variables. Now the problem 2 comes here. Yes, integer variable creation for 100 variables is a huge task. The second problem what we will be facing is that we have to remember 100 variable names. So here the C comes with an option called array. If you want to store multiple values and those values are having some or another way relationship with each other, then instead of creating multiple variables, you can create a single variable of type array, something like this. If I want to create a variable, I used to create like this. If I want to create an array of salary for single salary, I'll create something like this. If I want to store 100 employees salary, so I'll create an array. This is how we create the array. So here what we have seen, integer is the data type, salary is the variable name, and instead of single variable I'll be saying salary bracket 100. So here the compiler will get an idea that it has to create manually 100 spaces for the salary. Now the second problem you can see here, if I have create separate variables, then I can identify them with the name only. That if I want to store values into the value variable, then I have to call value variable. If I want to store values in the I variable, then I have to call in I. But here what happens, the name is same. So how we can differentiate with the 100 different variables we have created? So that is simple, with the help of index. That is, if I say salary of 0, you have to always remember array always start with index of 0. So if I say salary of 0, that means the first variable, so I can assign the value into it. If I want to assign for next employee, so I'll say as salary of first position as something like 2000. So in this way I can store values till 99 this way. So how is still 99? Because it started from 0 and I have told compiler to get me a memory space for storing 100 different values. So this is how, instead of creating 100 variables, by creating simple one variable, I can store 100 variables value. So here we can say a huge amount of advantage we are getting, that we don't have to create 100 variables. That is point number 1. Point number 2, that we don't have to remember the 100 variables name. Okay, now the second problems you can see here, that is what, how I can initialize this 100 variables. I have to write printf and scanf for 100 times for 100 variables. That is one option is available. Yes, you can initialize in this way, or you can initialize with the help of printf and scanf. So in the scanf what you will say, simply %d like normal, ampersand, then you'll say salary as 0 position. So this is works fine, but if it is for 100 variables, then I have to sit and write for printf and scanf for 100 times. Here comes the concept of loops. Yes, we have seen previously in the previous my videos that you have seen like what is loops. When we want to do some certain task continuously repeatedly at particular location, then we can do loops with the help of which we can get that task. We'll see it with example. So I hope so you have understood what is array and what is its need and what are the advantage we are getting, how we can enter the value and how we can print the value. I've shown simple with printf and scanf. You can get the value, and to print the value, so you can simply write printf percentage d, and you simply say salary at 0 position. It will print whatever value is there in that. Now you have to remember that whenever you create a array in the compiler, what the compiler does is basically it takes 100 variables memory space. And the second important thing you have to remember, yes, there is a myth in many students have a misunderstanding that if I create an array, it saves the memory. No, it will not save the memory. Only thing it is giving an advantage is that you don't have to remember 100 variables name. It is creating the variable and you have to remember by index. That is only advantage. Anyhow, compiler has to occupy 100 memory space for 100 variables. That is no change in that. So memory wise there is no change. Only thing you have to remember, yes, the compiler does the memory occupation, but it does one thing again. That is what it allocates a continuous memory allocation. That means if salary 0 is there, the next value will be just behind that. If suppose salary 0 is stored at the location at the memory, suppose 1024, then this will be stored at 1026. I'm considering on the basis of that the integer takes 2 bytes on that concepts. Okay, so 2 bits concepts I've gone through. Okay, so if that is the right, then it takes exactly, that is it will be continuously stored. So for the timing, for understanding purpose, I'm just telling if first value is stored at a 1000 array address, second will be stored at 1001, second and the third will 1002. That means the continuous memory allocation will be done. Okay, based on the integer size it will be allocated. Okay, I hope so you have understood that. So getting and printing the value is fine. What is about single dimension, multi-dimension? Yes, in array you can have n number of dimensions. Single dimension what is what we have seen the example of single dimension. Yes, you want to have multiple dimension, then also you can create something like this. So here what happens is that is 100 into 330's combination will be created. So that many values you can be stored. For more simplicity purpose, we generally say that this is row and this is column concept. Okay, so let's see the example and let's understand what I want to say. For in this example for single dimension, what I've created is I've created an array, I've created some variables, and I've created a multi-dimensional array also. So here you can say that thing 3 and 5, that 5 3 is a 15, that is total 15 values you can be stored, and 3 rows and 5 columns concepts will be there. And the previous array, it can store single 5 values. So one option is you can simply say printf array scanf and ampersand array of 0. But this scenario is fine, you can do this way and you can print the value, but it will not work for a long values because 5 values, in that also you have tried printf and scanf for 5 times. So there I use the concept of for loop. I am saying you have to always remember that because array is starting from 0, the loop should also start from 0 only. So I'm saying I equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus, and I say array of I position. So here instead of fixing the value as 0 or 1, I'm saying I. So initially I is 0, so it will take the value at 0th position, and similarly it will increment as and when it is required. So as and when the I will be incremented, the array position will be incremented too. Next comes is if I want to simply want to print it, then I'm say printf this thing. For timing, I'm just saying that rel equal to rel plus array of I. That is, I just want to sum up the all the positions value. Then I can do something like that also, and I printed the values. For two dimensional, you have to remember that I've said like you have to go through in the two-dimensional array, you have to create inner loops. So how to do that? First is the row. So I say I equal to 0, I less than 3. So if you remember that my array size is of 3 and 5, so first the third row and 5 columns, so it will get into the first row and fill all 5 values, second row first all 5 values, and that concept has been followed. So I equal to 0, I less than 3, I plus plus. Similarly, once if I is 0 goes into the j equal to j less than 5, so first 0th row all the 5 values will be entered, then will get out of that loop. So here also I am saying I and j, it will get out of it. So I is incremented 1, again it will go to j 0 0 1 2 3 4. Okay, so once again it is been completed, again it comes out and it stores for the 2. So in this way 3 rows values will be entered, and similarly for printing the values. Let's see the output. So this is what I've compiled and run it. So what I get it here is after running this program, so if I run this program.p.out, it asks the value. So firstly simply it asks and I have printed the value. So that scenario is not good, so I've put it in the array. So in the array it has asked 5 values and it's shown the 5 values and it has summed it. So just for time being I just compile it once again. So say prg c minus o p dot out. So that's done. Dot slash p dot out. So it's asking the first value. I'm saying first value. Suppose I say 20. So 20 is printed. That's not a good scenario. So I say using the array I'm now entering. Okay, so it printed out. Now again for the two-dimensional array it is asking. Again I'm entering the, because it's, you can see it will ask me 15 values because 5 3s are 15. So it has generated and it has shown the what is the total of it also. So it's working fine. We have seen what is array, what is the need of array, how we can enter the values, different scenarios and different types of array, that is single dimensional, multi-dimensional. If you understand array, you can store multiple values, you can find the highest value, smallest value, you can find sorting and different types of operation you can do in the array. I hope so I've cleared your doubts. If you still have any doubts, you can post comments on this video, or else you can find all the codes in my blog vinodthebest.wordpress.com. Please do share this link, and if you like this video, please subscribe my video. Thank you and have a nice day.